Good afternoon, everybody, morning or night, depending on where you're watching. I am your play-by-play host, username underscore Intel here, joined by Misfit, as we are here for the advanced game, Dallas Fuels versus EmptyBox. How are you doing, my good man?
I'm doing great. We just had a fantastic game down in our intermediate division that went to map 5 and was very, very exciting between Curious Cats and Hexen. That match was very exciting to cast, very exciting to watch. Make sure you go check it out once this VOD is posted. But now we go to our Masters division in the advanced division, and we got some playoff implications here. Both these teams fighting for a spot in the lower bracket now, both 2 and 4. This is kind of the final hour for them. They need to get a win here if they want to keep their playoff hopes alive. And, I'm very excited to see which one of these guys is able to make the effort.
Oh, but I'm very excited, especially because the fact that they are playing for those low bracket playoff chances, that means both of these teams can't afford to make a single mistake. They're going to be looking to just play out of their mind, and I'm wondering how well they can bring that far, how far they can bring that, because the main issue that comes in, especially when you have these pressures, as much as you can't afford to make an issue, I feel that a lot of players suffer from stage anxiety, where the moment that they get on, they can't perform as well. Their adrenaline only lasts for so long, and after that, it just breaks out. That's normally after map 1, or especially after a long pause.
Yeah, that's definitely a something to consider. But we'll see how it goes. Both these teams do have wins under their belt, so clearly they do have the ability to perform in some aspect or another. And here we have our rosters for each team. Looking at the DPS for Dallas Fools here, we're going to have Unleashed and Rainbow kicking things off for us. Then we have Quaggly and Sneaky Turtle on the tank role with Kath and Yosho bringing us up in the rear with the support. For EmptyBox, we're going to have Angel of Dead and Mouse on the DPS role. Going to have Benny Feeds and MRX on our tank role, and we're going to have Klusik and School on our support role.
Yep. But obviously, we're going to Busan. Well, not obviously, a lot of control variants, but I love Busan. It's one of those control maps where I can't say I have too many complaints on. It's kind of fits to where the different genres of what controls do. Lijiang is very much, it's a Metra kind of brawl-focused map, while Ilios can be kind of more dive, and Nepal, whatever Nepal is. But what I like about Busan is this has different variations on both rush and rotations.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Mecha Base, of course, lends itself to more brawl style. We were talking before the pre-show about how we've seen some Doomfist comps there recently. But, that's typically lends itself towards the McCree that we've seen a lot. Some potential for double bubble, but not as likely. Those tight chokes are very, very good for the May. On Sanctuary, we can see anything from rush to double bubble to even some Sigma ball compositions get run there with the Mercy Zen. And then on downtown, it's pretty heavily dive. You can't really make anything else work there. It's open enough to the point where dive is very effective and there's enough high ground to make it effective, but it's just closed enough that Zen comps are just a little bit too close to their opponents to get a lot of value. So I'm very excited here. I think double bubble will see a lot of play on this map, especially because we are in our advanced division where teams typically opt a little bit towards the meta more so than anything else. So I'm excited to see what each of these teams pulls out here as we get into Busan.
Oh, I definitely am, for sure. Both of these teams seem to want to run very similar compositions. They don't seem out of the ordinary. I think Brawl is just one of those compositions that every team feels comfortable running, specifically just because it's so easy to just understand. Enemy team, there, we say that person, just go after them. And I feel that's just kind of the opportunity. So I don't expect too much diversity, but just because their most played hero is Brawl or something doesn't mean that they'll end up running it. Some teams often surprise us.
Yes, no, that's definitely true here. And Sanctuary is a map where I feel like we will have the most variation in comps just because we have the most variation of things that work here. The other two maps are very heavily either Brawl or Dive is better. This map is kind of it just depends on how you play it. And like I said, you know, we're going to see some different comps here from both teams. Dallas Fool is going to opt for that Sigma ball composition I was talking about with the Zen, which I love seeing. I love me some good Zen play. I'm a flex support myself. And they're on EmptyBox. They're going to be running the Sombra Tracer sort of brawl dive composition. Basically, what you're going to see from this comp is the tanks are kind of going to engage typically like brawl, and then from there it engages much more like dive. They kind of go in, get cooldowns out, and then when they see an opportunity, they use their cooldowns, or they use their cooldowns specifically to survive.
Both sides using different variations to just get to point faster, but it looks like EmptyBox are going to be having the advantage, already taking over the bongo room. They try to pull a hack, and they manage to get it onto Sneaky Turtle, but Modius ends up trading their life in favor. However, that's much more of a bigger pick. They managed to get out Kath as well. The Rez looks to be commit. They still want to try to even up this fight, but I don't think they have any ability to start touching the point aside from initial poke.
Yeah, that kill there from Sneaky Turtle is very big. Even though he has to lose his life for it, now Mouse can't charge his ult at all, and they're going to be really behind on that EMP charge.
Now, look, both of these teams just going at just some type of chance to move in. It looks like Mr. X is able to find out Unleashed, and they're just continuously having to back out. They're not giving Kath any room. She's just being forced to play back in angles where she can't do much, and it's so unfortunate.
Yeah, I'd like to see Dallas Fools rotate to the other side of the map. They don't need to fight close with EmptyBox. They want to take a lot of angles and really collapse on EmptyBox from a bunch of different angles, but instead they're trying to fight him. And now they are opting to go to point and forcing this brawl comp to leave their safety of their corridor.
That Coalescence being used, mirrored by the Falc, hopefully putting in some damage. Looks like Cash, she's able to find out Ben, but Mr. X finishes off Unleashed before that high noon was built. They're putting on pressure onto the Sigma, the E coming out, but they want to try to end him before anything. That Transcendence is a miracle saver. Same with the Pulse Bomb. Mine's being used on point, stopping anyone from contesting. Looks like that Pulse Bomb perfectly placed. Mention gonna find out Kath. Looks like they used the big Valve, wanting to res up Kath as fast as possible, but this stall is absolutely insane. There's just the Lucio there, and everyone else is just walking into the mine, but they want to stall this out so they can get this into a close one-fight territory. We see this at 67%. Lucio on top of the bongo. We see a beautiful slam just shutting it down, and that's how Dallas Fools managed to win it out.
Yeah, and so something about these two comps that's very different, right? EmptyBox's comp really cannot do that much once it loses a member. It's a brawl composition. It needs all of its pieces in order to get things done. But Dallas Fools, as long as they have angle control, it does not matter how many members of them have died. Any one of these characters can make really, really big plays and can get very big kills. But Mouse, they're going to find a really big kill there onto Cat.
Yeah, the Pulse Bomb thrown out a bit too early, doesn't match, but that sound barrier is going to save them from the Graviton Surge. They managed to find 2 picks out from the Dallas field, and that monkey's dangerously low. Looks like they're going to be able to find out Ben. He just was a bit uncomfortable, and now the ball is making sure to just play behind. But they are dangerously low. The armor only lasts for so long, and EmptyBox already immediately winning back to point.
Yeah, Rainbow there, though, going to find a very big kill onto Angel of Dead. Angel of Dead, of course, with their ultimate, so that's going to set that back a little bit. Dallas Fools needs to find a way to recontest this. So they know their opponents are going to play drum, and they know Mouse is going to look for a hack, and they need to figure out a way to stop the rotation and stop the hack so that they can, like, really, really establish angle control here.
Angel Dev has to use the rewind just because they get pressured out. That Diva Bomb making the space. The heck! They weren't paying attention to the Sombra behind them, even though they knew. Looks like Unleashed is not going to be able to use that high noon. Going to be able to one-shot that Tracer, that Lucio not being able to sustain themselves on the point. We're in 99th scenario, and the Coalescence gets used, hopefully just trying to find some damage in, but it looks like they don't have their DPS to secure them. Modus is up to at least 70%, so they could possibly win on an upcoming EMP, so it's all up to Kath to play around it.
Dallas Fools there coming in with a really, really clutch fight when they needed that one. It looked like all was lost there. The high noon got hacked. They were in a bad spot there, but Quagany with a really nice play there to help secure the fight for his team. And now Dallas Fools is in a much better spot, though. They need to be worried about Mouse getting close to this EMP, though. Hopefully they need to get Cav's Transcendence online before it comes out so that they have a way to sustain through it.
Oh, we see them getting ready, and we more than definitely are going to be seeing a lot of fights. Look at that, already the initial poke managing to DMAC Mr. X. They're just looking for a type of slam. They find out the Sombra, they lose to Lucio, and this is not looking too great. Looks like EmptyBox just has to reset. They got picked out a bit too early, and their Sombra just wasn't ready to engage.
Yeah, and now the Transcendence will be online, so the strategy here is just play split, and if you do get EMP'd, Cass will come in and save you with her Transcendence. And that's got to be how they play this. It's final fight territory. EmptyBox has nothing else. They need a huge EMP here, but the mines are going to stop this engagement really effectively.
Ooh, and they find out the Lucio on the side of EmptyBox. We see that EMP comes out. It hits Caps. That's so unfortunate. She is still alive, though, so she manages to use the Transcendence. After a couple seconds, manages to save Sneaky's life and ensure that High Noon gets invested. That monkey in the backline's not going to be able to do much as they get stunned dangerously low. Unleashed, it's just having a full shooting range, is being able to hit anyone they want. That pulse bomb managing to find out Ben, with the Lucio still running around, but there's just nothing you can do when you run on a horizontal pathing. And while EmptyBox started out strong, looks like Dalass Fuels are going to be able to end it with a 1-0 so far. Well, 1 point.
I have to highlight Rainbow here on this Tracer. He has been absolutely phenomenal here at finding angles and finding kills for Dalass Fools. All the members of Dalass Fools have been playing very, very well, but specifically Rainbow has made a lot of really clutch picks and a lot of really nice plays to follow up on the space that his tanks are making, especially Quaggany. He's working very, very well with Quaggany on that ball to find opportunities. And the mechanics are definitely there. He's definitely a player to watch moving forward in this match. But now we get into Mecha Base. Both these teams will be opting for more of a brawl composition. But Dalass Fools is going to stick on the Rhine ball.
Oh, and more importantly, they're running the Doomfist. We discussed this before this match started, and I was ready to run it. You didn't believe me at first, but now you're seeing it. That slam comes out, Unleashed, able to hit out Angels of Death. That's the best pick you can get. That May's gone. Sure, you managed to trade out your Doomfist, but there's no May stopping you from fully engaging as they just continuously just walk on. Sneaky Turtle going down dangerously low, but it looks like Ben's just unable to survive. So much poke and angles coming in. That ball is able to just forcefully stop them from doing anything while Sneaky Turtle just walks in.
EmptyBox is going to have to take a step back here and reset and figure this comp out, because it's not a traditional comp, you know? We did talk about the Reaper Doom compositions that get run here, but this is not a traditional brawl composition. There's no Zari here to bubble the Doomfist or anything like that. It's a Wrecking Ball, and they're just going to have to find ways to make that work.
Oh, unfortunately, that Unleashed doesn't manage to survive that fight, but the window ensures. Same with the Immortality on the side of Dalass Fuels. They just get more picks. The ball is getting so much value by slamming them in the air. They couldn't use the window as much as they wanted to.
Yeah, no, the ball is definitely making an impact here. It's just so weird that I don't think EmptyBox knows how to deal with it. Mouse is going to have to keep an eye out for it, going to be wanting to look for the stun, but, you know, if he uses that stun for the ball, then they won't have it for Unleashed on this Doomfist. So it's, you know, damned if you do, damned if you don't.
That Shatter gets used, it gets blocked, but Rainbow there to finish off Angel of Death and Ben. Unleashed once again dying really early into the fight for Dalass Fuels, but I don't think their job is to really secure fights. I think it's just to force the team to look away, as Yosho is able to start ending it up, and Sneaky sort of making sure to stagger people a bit more, and this is not looking great. Quag has the mind, so even if they win this next fight, they have to be careful during the engagement.
Yeah, EmptyBox with a lot of ultimates online here. They have the grab. Yosho does have the beat for it. And now it looks like EmptyBox is going to be opting to try the right side. The left side wasn't working too well. Let's see how we do here. But the mines are going to come out, and they're going to find School early.
That's unfortunate. I guess School's out when it comes to the graduating year of 2021. Unleashed able to find out Ben, and they're just cleaning up almost like a free Sunday as they're just, oh no, Lucio goes into the mines. That's just a bit unfortunate.
Yeah, I think that was intentional, actually. I think he was trying to reset those mines. Of course, don't give ult charge back to Hammond as they are an ultimate, and so it's nice to be able to get that ult charge away from the enemy team here. But now EmptyBox is really struggling to make something happen. They need to find this grab, but Klusik gets pinned.
It's unfortunate, but that Blizzard's going to be able to help them out. The Sound Barrier tries to sustain them. It's going to be helping out a tiny bit, and Rainbow's on the flanks, going to be able to do a majority of the damage, but the ball is really the only tank that you have. You don't have anyone left there, and Kat is doing her best to try to heal up the team, while Agony just stalls it out, and Agony, oh my goodness, manages to get 2. Now there's only 3 people on point. They have to use the Sound Barrier just to sustain themselves for a tiny bit longer, as we see Yosho just started putting in damage from the flank, but Sneaky Turtle's back. They managed to find out Quaggany, but it doesn't even matter. They don't have anyone there to help them out, and it looks like Dalass Fools are going to be able to win it out. Busan seems to be their forte.
Yeah, I mean, it was their map pick, so it's not they definitely have it down pat. But that was a much more dominant victory than I was expecting. Both these teams 2-4, and honestly, if you hadn't told me that before the game, I wouldn't have believed it, because Dallas Fools is playing like a very, very powerful team right now, albeit a little bit weird with their compositions. But I mean, hey, if it's working, what's the problem, right? And yeah, I got to give them big props for running very weird things there. The Doom Ball is not something we see very often, but I think they caught their opponents off guard, and now it's on EmptyBox to adjust to what Dallas Fools is running at them with.
Yep. But coming up next, I am personally really happy. I may love this map, but we're not going to be seeing King's Row. We're going to be seeing Ike. Oh, no. No, we're seeing King's Row.
You baited us all.
My heart destroyed as we see, once again, King's Row being run. I may love this map, but sometimes it gets a bit overdone. We talk about it a lot. It's traditionally very much a brawl map. I don't really see much variations. Often just that Kree, May, and then everyone else.
Yeah, no, for sure. And, maybe we'll see some variation today. Of course, we don't typically see Doom Ball Reinhardt on Mecha Base either, but Dallas Fools decided to run that anyway, and they 99-0'd. So, we'll have to see how this one goes. Won't know until we get in the game, but I'm hopeful we'll get to see some more tomfoolery come out of the Dallas Fools, as they have been partaking in quite a bit of it so far. And right now, it's working for them. They haven't lost a point yet. They 2-0'd on Control. Now they're going into hybrid with their heads held high. And again, like I said, EmptyBox, it's got to be on them to adjust. Your opponent's running something weird. You haven't seen this in scrims. How are they beating you, and how can you stop it? That's the question they've got to ask themselves right now.
Yeah, but I don't know how much they're going to be able to figure that out, especially when they run such unconventional compositions. But that's really the benefit of running those types of comps. You psych out the enemy team. You force them to not focus as much as they want to. And honestly, that is just kind of what you suffer from.
Yes, especially when, they're so good at running those unorthodox comps, right? A lot of times when you run those unorthodox comps, like with Ryan Ball, it works because everyone is so individually good in that comp at the character they're playing that it becomes very difficult to focus on one thing or another. The ball's moving around so fast, but the brawl is still playing very aggressively, which they shouldn't be able to do with the ball there. But because everyone's just playing so well and timing their engagements so well, it becomes hard for EmptyBox to actually focus on anything and actually get something done, because it's all over the place. They're not used to seeing this, but especially in this Masters Evo, we do see teams who are much better at adjusting to things. So I'm hopeful they'll be able to find an answer.
Ooh, but how much of an... I don't really see... I'm trying to think about ideas of unconventional compositions, especially when it comes to King's Row. I don't really see much of it. Obviously, you can run a Junkrat, you can run a Sniper here and there. I often see a Hanzo for that shield pressure. But I think everything other than that is just kind of ordinary. I don't see a Ball Reinhardt really working out too well.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't see it working out too well on Mecha Base, but here we are with Dallas Fools up 1-0 in the series, so... We'll have to see how it goes. Ball, of course, was once very good on this map. There was that one very strange time in Overwatch where Sigma Ball was the dominant composition. And even on this map, which has been Brawl for as many metas back as I can remember, eventually went over to the Sigma Ball composition. So Ball definitely does see playtime here. And given how good Quaggany is on that character, I would not be surprised to see some kind of Ball composition from Dallas Fools.
It can work, especially if a team doesn't understand how to play Gunstead. EmptyBox could possibly try running a Sombra here and there, or maybe a few more stuns, but the Ball, that's what they get value from. If you are not focused and paying attention to where they are angled or just diving you from, then you reach the issue of they're going to be able to shut you down in every scenario, and that becomes a big issue for teams. But we're in a very high division right now, so I'm more focused on these teams being able to shut it down rather than why can't they shut it down.
That's fair. I would say that's fair. And again, into the May Kree, I think it is hard sometimes to run the ball because you'll have that May to freeze you and you'll have that Kree to stun you. But if you invest those cooldowns into Quaggany and he's still able to survive and get away, that gives the Rhine of Sneaky Turtle much more breathing room, right? If they were to run a Rhine Ball composition here, right? And that's kind of the benefit that you have running that running that ball, right, is because it's just kind of, again, it's one of those situations where it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. You can use your cooldowns to try to kill him, but even after you kill him, that gives the actual core of the roster, the Brawl composition, so much more breathing room and space because they don't have to worry about stuns and cooldowns anymore because you just used it on their ball, right? So it's just like if they can follow up on that, the Ryan ball can definitely still work. But I don't know. I'm probably gonna expect a Brawl mirror from both these teams just because it's classic. It's what we always see here. But we won't know until we get into the map.
Yeah, it's Kings Row. There's nothing out of the ordinary, but I don't really see that ball working, especially because Kings Row, up into that third point, is so close quarters. It's very claustrophobic, and I don't see a ball being able to just rope around like a ballerina, and it's just very unrealistic. We're not playing Spider-Man, we're playing Overwatch.
I don't know. You'd be surprised the amount of things I've seen work against Brawl comps on Kings Row, man. Anything can happen. You got to keep an open mind here. And in 5 seconds, we're going to see what exactly we'll be getting from both these teams. And it will be a much more traditional Brawl mirror like I expected. Yeah. As much as I do want to see the ball on this map, as you said, it's just a little bit unrealistic. It's not as good. It's just a little too hard to run, so it looks like they will be opting for a little bit more of a traditional Brawl comp. The big difference, though, instead of running a Mei, they are running a Hanzo, so they're opting for a very high damage composition here, and they will also have the Sigma instead of the traditional D.Va or Zarya. So Dallas Fools, once again, subverting our expectations with another weird composition, although it is much more traditional than what we just saw them on.
I gotta say, I personally really like Dallas Fuel's kind of comp. It very much works well with angles or poke and doing a lot of damage, while EmptyBox, they aren't going to be going out with the Sombra. They seem to want to just run out on pure brawl, so it's up to them to just go against the odds and do their best. Taking a long rotation, we've seen this happen before. I don't like it either.
Not good into the Hanzo.
No, look at that. They already are scouting exactly where they are going. So now they want to take over that high ground. I can see they're planning. But look, Yosh has just planned against it. It's just sat there waiting. Boop, comes out, gets your Reinhardt off the high ground. Now your entire plan is ruined. And they just seem to want to take that low ground now. They managed to get the boot onto the high ground on the right side. But there's still so much poke and just everyone having to back up.
Yeah, EmptyBox here is probably going to retake that high ground with the stairs back there, luckily placed for them. Once again, Yosho's looking for a boot. Somehow gets away, which good on him, but
it's kind of a benefit, but they're taking these long poke in rotations. They're waiting for Modius to find the first pick. They use that window in the room, but look at that, their McCree gets shut down. Now they all have to drop onto point. They need this to start working, or else they just wasted time. Already putting pressure on the Immortality, managing to save out that Reiner just barely, but they managed to trade in when it comes to tank line. Looks like Quag is not going to be able to survive, but the DPS coming out of Cath and Rainbow is going to be able to help secure. They try to use the high noon to end it out, but it's just unfortunate. Although Unleashed, this is why you keep a Hanzo in. Look how much damage Hanzo's able to pull, especially by just getting a headshot. Still has those Storm Arrows as a backup and the Dragons to slow people down, but it looks like EmptyBox are going to control this area. They still have that tick, and Unleashed has the Dragons, but they're 6 compared to the enemy team. And look at that, the Dragons being popped out, looking to find a target. Sneaky Turtle not going to be able to survive. Mode does get shut down. That's not going to be fortunate. Mr. X remeching into the fight. The window being used by Cat, looking to find, but this Shatter ends up hitting everyone. There was nothing stopping them. The Gravitic Flux still wants to be invested into this fight, looking to just get this Reinhardt. Don't know what their plan is, but obviously their master's not me. And they're going to be able to shut down Quaggany, and now they're just able to capture the point. Very curious on Dallas Fools kind of planning. Maybe they're switching here and there.
Well, don't worry. I can confirm as a Masters player that was not correct. It wasn't just you that thought that. That was definitely not an ultimate that they wanted to invest there, but it looks like it was intentional. They were switching over to the D.Va, so that was the reason behind it. Dallas Fools now opting for a much more traditional composition, and honestly, their comp worked well for them. They just kind of got caught off guard by that rotation from EmptyBox. That long-winded rotation got picks, and it allowed them to be able to get back onto point for their recontest with a lot of space.
That window being used, they're going to be able to pressure out that shield. Sneaky Turtle has nothing to defend, and they're just going to win off of that fight. Unfortunately, they're not going to be able to LOS it if they're just able. Remember, that is a whole flat screen TV when it comes to that window, and they're just able to push you back because of it, basically almost guaranteeing their win on the street phase.
Yeah, that's definitely going to allow them to push it most of the way. They will still have an opportunity for a recontest here. And Dallas Fools does have quite a few ultimates here. They will have the sound barrier to deal with EmptyBox's ultimates, mainly that Blizzard that we're going to see come out from Angel of Dead here. But, you know, Sneaky Turtle and Rainbow have to find some value here with their ultimates if they want to find a way to get this point back.
They use the dragons to help themselves engage, and Rainbow uses the High Noon. It's going to be able to find out Ben. The counter High Noon manages to get eaten while Unleashed gets picked out. Mr. X using that Diva Bomb, hopefully trying to make a miracle happen, but it looks like they're not going to be able to do much. Rainbow being able to find out School. They have the Blizzard for the next fight, and I love kind of the patience and, I don't know the word, it's not on my head, but they understand that they shouldn't overinvest that Blizzard just for a chance of winning.
Yeah, very, very smart, being very efficient with their abilities. I do want to say, actually, I don't know if you caught it, it was kind of a blink and you'll miss it moment, but Yosho's sound barrier was nearly frame perfect there to save Unleashed from that High Noon.
Look at that, the Blizzard gets used the moment that they start trying to enter in. The Immortality can only sustain you for so long. Rainbow's playing far back, and this is kind of a split fight as we see EmptyBox being able to pick off the people of Dallas Fuels one by one. And they're running back to the point. There's going to be nobody to recontest. Rainbow's being blocked out by the Baby Diva, and somebody needs to do it. The Lucio there is too scared to pressure out because that McCree's there to be able to stun, shoots, but look at that. Sneaky Turtle returns back. Rainbow with the High Noon, and they commit to Shatter, just making sure. That was pretty toxic. They're just saying, hey, we saw you almost capture that. This is what you deserve for it.
This is what you get. Go back to spawn. Yeah, but it might have been a little bit of an overinvestment because now EmptyBox is coming up on 3 ultimates here. They will have a sound barrier that can go pretty much unanswered. If they really want to, they can beat Engage here and just run over the side of Dallas Fools. We'll have to see how they decide to get into this next fight.
Yeah, Ben does have this shatter. This could end it very quickly. Same with the sound barrier to sustain them. They're looking to just play around it, putting pressure in the charge miss, hitting the wall. But the shatter set up, it gets blocked. Immortality managing to sustain them. The sound barrier enabling the High Noon to find Unleashed. Now they're being able to take out Sneaky Turtle. That Diva Bomb high in the air. They need to block it out. Looks like they're able to find out School. Now they have no consistent forms of healing. But everyone else on Dallas Fool just don't have the sustain or anyone there to help them. We see Mr. X use the bomb, hopefully just able to end it out. And we might see them win this street phase. But look at this. There's still people contesting this point. They want to get it into overtime. This will help them in the long run, but I don't know how well it'll be able. They still get the May. And wait, there are more people still dying on the enemy, on the side of Fools. I don't know what they expect. Empty just are able to consistently run through. The spawns are about even, so if you're not getting more picks than you're losing, then it's just not worth it.
Wow, a very, very tight fight there. It goes the way of EmptyBox, and now the ult economy looking fairly one-sided. Angel of Dead will have their Blizzard and Mouses close to that High Noon, but Dallas Fools sporting 4 ultimates, including that beat, so they can deal with whatever EmptyBox throws at them. Dallas Fools with a really, really good chance to stabilize here.
Yeah, look at that wall being able to block them out. They popped the window a bit too far up. The counter window is going to give them a bit more room. The High Noon being able to use the Immortality saves them. Sound Barrier Dragons get popped out, but they're going to be able to survive through it. Looks like they forced them into the small room. There's nothing much that EmptyBox can do besides just kind of pressure them into it. The Fools wanting to play onto this high ground, play to their strengths. They have the shatter, they have the ability, but that Blizzard's going to be coming out and the shatter gets canceled due to it. That's very unfortunate. You don't want to do that in any type of scenario. Unleash is really the last person who could bring it up, but hero plays are only in your quick play games.
That was a very interesting choice, and by interesting, I mean it could have worked. And it was pretty much last fight, as we see here. There's no contest available. If he does hit that shatter, then it makes it much harder for EmptyBox to kill them in the ultimate, or in the Blizzard rather. But still, just a very, very, I don't know, it's just a very weird play. I don't know if he just mistimed it, or if Angel of Dead was smart and froze him because he knew that that was something that he was going to try to do. Either way, not going the way of Dallas Fools, but they do a pretty good hold here. Not too much time left in EmptyBox's bank. So Dallas Fools does have the potential to, if they can steamroll this map, they put themselves in a much better position for overtime.
Yep. All they have to do is at least get 1 second, bring in the ability to draw it out or something, so you can keep that point advantage. But look at this, we're going to be seeing EmptyBox, once again, running out the same composition. I'm pretty sure Dalass are going to end up just mirroring them, but they want to run that Widow for the initial pick.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. I would expect a brawl comp personally. If they're going to run a ball comp, though, I say ball or brawl comp. If they're going to run a ball comp, they're going to do it on attack here. That's where the ball gets the most value. It looks like Quaggany is opting for the D.Va, though. Not going to see any more of those shenanigans on the Wrecking Ball today. Yeah, no, this was just going to be a full mirror, full on. They're going to be fighting over the walls. Once the team walls, they're going to isolate a target, try to go on it. If they don't isolate a target, they're going to wait for their wall. Very, very simple, very fluid gameplay we're about to see here.
Yeah, we know Rainbow's walking out. They're not going to be having the consistent damage, but what they do have is angles, as we see EmptyBox hiding inside of the house, but now they have to rotate out. Looks like they're already putting in some good work onto the Widow, and Rainbow's just going to say, nope, going to let my team rotate. Sure, 4 can do this, but I can't, as they immediately just want to try to take the high ground.
Yeah, and once again, we see this high ground rotation. This is fairly weird to me. I don't see a lot of teams do this. Typically, brawl comps don't want to play this back. And they actually went to go kill Rainbow and Spawn. What a heads-up play from EmptyBox.
Now it's a 5v6. They have to do their best. Sneaky Turtle being pressured into the corner. That immortality is going to sustain them. They've swapped sides, but I don't know how well they're going to be able to do because Ben goes down, was so dangerously low and couldn't be peeled. That's unfortunate. They've lost their tank, and remember, Fools respawn much closer, and it looks like what looked to be a very aggressive, smart idea ended up kind of not even mattering.
Yeah, that was a very weird. I'm still not sure how Dalass Fools was able to take that fight back, because there was no reason they should have been able to. Good on them for sure, and now they do have some ultimates to work with here, but they're gonna have to be aware of this wall here. They got a little bit too ahead of themselves now.
But now they're looking to use this high noon combined with the window, but that Maywall is going to be able to block the majority of the damage, but they still find Unleash. That stun roll combo just does so much damage. Angels of Death is going to be really the only one who tries to stay on to the point, but everyone else just has to rotate out. You can't engage in a 5v6, especially without a May. Wait, they're going to be taking this fight back real quick, managing to get Quaggany, and kind of, again, they're stalling. This is a very weird fight because they decide to go in, they immediately lose their D.Va, and now they have to wait.
Yeah, I think they were trying to go in to maybe safer, or maybe capitalize on the long stagger, but unfortunately just not able to work. And now it looks like they're going to opt for high ground control?
That gives them
I don't hate this.
Yeah, that gives them at least the ability to just have more space. Rainbow can use the high noon up there. There's a lot of ideas that you can definitely run, so I'm guessing. But that window, oh no, the wall gets used. Stops them from saving Sneaky Turtle. The high noon, Immortality manages to save them. Both Blizzards get combined, but that D.Va Bomb's able to just stop anyone from doing anything more. Looks like they're going to be on mech. Rainbow being able to permit a lot of damage into this fight. Going into the back line, the Baptiste, they just weren't ready for the colors of the sky.
Path walking up and meleeing her counterpart in the face to secure the rest of that fight win now. And Dalass Fools looking pretty good. Maybe not the cleanest fight win, but it's going to get them some space, and they will be able to push up to mostly the end of Street's phase. They've got some ultimates to work with here, but so do their opponents. They've got to play this smart. Quaggany's probably going to look for a pretty big bomb since there's nothing he has to eat. And they will most likely use that to get space and engage.
Okay, now they're preparing. That wall is going to be able to help them out. The immortality. The shatter comes out, manages to hit too. Shuts down Unleashed. That's very unfortunate. Cat being able to find out Ben, but the sound barrier is going to be able to allow them to run in. The counter sound barrier being able to use to sustain them for a bit more. That Doom Bomb being thrown into the air, hopefully being able to find a target. Unable to. The remake not finding much either way, but looks like everyone on the side of Fools just has to back up. They still kind of want to take this fight because the main tank is gone. Cat able to find out the McCree. And Rainbow on the flank with the high noon. They're going to be able to wall it off and just shut it down, but they're still being able to move up. Cap has the windows, going to be using it, looking for the opportunity, going to be shutting down Max, and they don't care how many people are down on their side. One, make it two, they're still fighting to win it.
I was just about to chide them for not using, they let their opponents ult first. They let their opponents go first, which is never something you want to do in Overwatch. You always want to be the ones dictating the pace if you can afford it, right? And they let EmptyBox go first there, but because they played their abilities so well and used their abilities so well, they were able to kind of bait EmptyBox into overextending and wasting a lot of the resources without getting value for them. And then they just punished them on the re-engage and were able to secure that second point. And now, we mentioned this before, right? All Dallas Fools needs is a really healthy time bank here to help them secure this win. And they're looking to get it right now with 3:30 on the time bank.
Rainbow's coming up on the high noon. That's going to give them the ability to start playing more aggressive, but Quaggity's going down dangerous low. Has to retreat a bit. They still need their mech for a little longer. That immortality being used so early is going to end up not paying off. Looks like they're going to be using the Blizzard and high noon as a combination, but the sound barrier gets used. They still want to try to win this out. Rainbow manages to find out Club, but the Diva bomb shatter is absolutely insane and manages to end that. They almost had a chance, but it looks like EmptyBox don't want to give them any room.
Okay, I need like a screenshot of what just happened there. Somehow Sneaky Turtle, or no, somehow Ben Feeds was able to find a kill in between the time that MRX's bomb killed one and killed two others. I've never seen a Diva Bomb have something like interrupting the kill feed before. I need someone to send me a picture of that.
Hey, I don't know. You know, I would kiss someone for anything of that. But we're going back into the fight. Look at this, the window being used. Same with the missiles, looking to just find some type of value. You see Quaggity has the Diva Bomb, and they're just pressuring in. There's no mech, there's nothing. They're just able to start walking. Look at that. The Blizzard being used can be able to shut people down. I'm pretty sure they're going to be able to cap this point. But there's still a Reinhardt there just looking to stop people from doing anything. But he's had the high noon, but wasn't able to use it. And look at that, 2 minutes and 22 seconds. That is an amazing time bank.
Yeah, we'll get slightly evened out just because the way it works in Overwatch is your time gets upped a little bit off. It's up 9 seconds. That's what I should say. EmptyBox finished with 51 seconds, so they get up to a minute, and then 9 seconds are added to Dallas Fools' time. I do want to point out that while EmptyBox's time bank is definitely worse, it is half of what Dallas Fools have. Dallas Fools does not have like an extreme time bank by any means. It's a good one. They will have time to build ultimates, which EmptyBox will not have, but it's not so big that they can afford to make a lot of mistakes, right? So we'll have to see how it goes. Dallas Fools will be on the defense first here with that healthier time bank, and they will opt again for the Sigma, but they will not be bringing the Hanzo this time. They will opt for the Mei. Got a lot of value out of those walls on their attack, and going to be looking to do it again on their defense.
Honestly, I am a little scared. Sometimes we've seen teams capture the point with 1 minute go into overtime and cap all three. So it could definitely be one of those types of scenarios. So EmptyBox, they maybe have 2 very long fights, or if they take very minimum fights, they can just keep going and going and going. But we'll have to see. The fight is in their corner as we see them run out. Once again, on the mirror. Well, not exactly. Look at this. Now, coming out of this fight, we see them already taking that rotation. They want to take it aggressive, and they are ready. Those walls managing to already split them up. The Maze one got too far. Mr. X has to they have to use the immortality just to sustain themselves for a tiny bit longer. Fire Strike managing to put some pressure onto them. Unleash finds out School. That's not great for EmptyBox. That's the consistent healing, and now they've lost any type of chance. The E's going to be able to shut down most of it. The charge. The boom doesn't save Rainbow. That's unfortunate, but Ben doesn't have any type of healing, and they're just be able to force them out. The bright side of this is that it's going to take longer for Rainbow to get back than it does for Ben or Angel. So, but that's why they need to start getting these picks. They're trying to stagger them as much as possible to help the time bank. They're going into 10 seconds. Yeah, no,
they forced them back quite a bit, and now it looks like Unleashed is looking for a wall to stop them from contesting at all.
Yeah, look at that. Sneaky Turtle able to find out that Lucio, the shatter comes out. Absolutely hits everyone. Ben wasn't in there, LOS, and that's just so unfortunate when it comes to it. It looks like EmptyBox. They do get the tick, though. They did get the tick, so this is a winnable situation.
Oh, they got a tick out of that?
Yeah, they got a tick.
That's really big, actually. That's a bit of a misplay there from Dallas Fools allowing that tick to go through, because now they actually can lose this. And now, of course, they need to get a tick of their own. But, instead of full holding and making it so that it has to be a draw scenario, now you actually are in a situation where you can still lose this map if EmptyBox is able to pull off a fuller hold here. So now the question I'm asking myself is EmptyBox going to opt for a very defensive composition that they can, try to guarantee a full hold on, or are they just going to go for what is very consistent? It looks like they'll be going for consistency and opting for this brawl comp once again.
I definitely see what you mean, but this is no longer scary for EmptyBox. Sure, that's a 2-minute time bank, but you just got a tick. That's amazing. That means this is no longer drawable, and you still have a winnable condition. But it seems that Quaggany still wants to play onto the Sigma. I can't say I don't hate it, but I can't say that I enjoy it too much. There is a benefit to it because it has the value of Zarya's damage, but the eat of D.Va, so it's kind of a good in-between.
It's a very interesting situation. I don't hate it. They ran it on their attack. Basically, what they have to do is they have to really play for cooldowns, right? When the Mei wall goes up, the bubbles go up. They have to play around that cooldown rotation, and they need to poke when it's not up, which is good in a way. But I think they're going to want that D.Va back once their members start taking a lot of damage and their cooldowns aren't up.
Yeah, but look at this. Already the fight going out. They're being able to wall them off. They've taken pressure on the point, forces EmptyBox to have to step on, being able to stun. Oh, no, they shut down Ben. The Immortality not doing enough. And they look at that. They're already putting in so much damage. And Modi just has to back out. Yoshi's able to find out Skull. This isn't looking great. Ben having to switch over to the ball, but by this point, it's all over. I'm so sorry, EmptyBox. You did your best, but the fools want to take it up 2-0.
So now we've seen Dalass Fools run one of the weirdest comps I've ever seen, well, and the very traditional comp, well. So the question I'm asking myself is, does EmptyBox actually have something they can pull out here that's going to make this game close? Because right now, Dalass Fools is kind of running away with this one. This was a close map. Let's not kid ourselves. But I think Dalass Fools was consistently better in most of those fights, right? I think EmptyBox played well. They won enough fights to make it close, but Dalass Fools felt like they were in control for most of the map. They had the more controlling victory on their first attack, which allowed them to have more time in their bag for their second attack. Right now, Dalass Fools is running away with this.
Honestly, I'm going to have to think about what just happened, because I have a lot of good things to say about Fools, but I want to understand what makes them so good. So, this break is going to allow me to start thinking about what's going on. Make sure you tune back to see if EmptyBox managed the reverse sweep. My goodness, is the break over already? Because we are back with Dalass Fools versus EmptyBox, a 2-0 series. We have the opportunity for a reverse sweep, but I don't know, Misfit. How are you feeling about the game so far?
Right now, I kind of feel like Dalass Fools is in firm control of the game. But of course, there are always ways for EmptyBox to come back. And I think they've chosen a good one so far by picking Gibraltar as our next map in this series. Gibraltar is a pretty unique map, I would say. It's not like King's Row. It's not like Busan. We will not see very many brawl comps. There will be absolutely no Reinhardt playing on this map. It will be dive on both sides. So we will get to see EmptyBox on a comp that they either believe they are more comfortable on than Dalass Fools, or just something that they want to throw in to shake up, right? This is their final map, right? This is potentially their final map. They either win or lose here, and if they don't win, they're done. They're out of playoffs. There's nothing left for them. So clearly they think that there's something about this map they can play better than Dalass Fools, and I would assume they just have a lot of faith in their dive composition. We haven't seen a lot of it yet from them. They did run that Sombra, Tracer, Moira, Lucio kind of dive brawl hybrid, which I would expect them to maybe run here as well, but we won't know until we get into the map.
Oh, I definitely agree. You know what? I'm having the issue. I have such a short-term memory, maybe because these matches have been insane. I've forgotten what map we're going to. Do you remember?
I just said it was Gibraltar, man.
Oh my goodness.
This guy's tuning me out, man. What am I going to do?
You know, you said you're tired before. I guess I am. Because Gibraltar is very much one of those maps. Honestly, I think it's just because I didn't believe it when I first heard it. I really thought. Because most teams, I don't often see Gibraltar. It's been a here or there type of comp. Type of map for people to run. But rarely I hear a lot of people complain about it. They don't like its overarching map design. They don't like how it feels, but it's very heavily dive. Dive is my favorite composition to run and watch. So to see teams run it, I always kind of had to take a double step, you know? That's why I got distracted.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're going to have to point me in the direction of anyone who's saying that this is a bad map, because it's definitely one of my favorites, because I get to play Zen here a lot. And Zen, of course, is the best character in Overwatch. I will not be taking criticisms to that point at this time. You will just have to accept that I'm right. And I mean, like, I love it. I love seeing it. I love it playing it on this map. Even Ana, when I have to play Ana on this map, is still very, very fun. I love playing Dive. I love watching Dive. And it just it makes Gibraltar one of the most fun maps to watch and play in Overwatch. So I don't know who's slandering such a great map with their harmful words, but I would like them to know that I'm crying inside at it. So how dare they, rather.
Absolutely. I love this map, and more importantly, I love to see those monkeys getting ready to go primal to the enemy's backline. Dallas Fools wanting to run a standard double bubble with a Torbjorn. Okay, you know what? I've seen it all, apparently.
Heavy quotation marks.
I've seen it all. You know, I didn't see the Torbjorn at first, but...
No, I do actually like this composition. So what we're going to see here from Dallas Fools, right? Instead of hard engaging on something with like a traditional Tracer or Echo that are going to want to get on there, we see Unleashed mess up that jump a couple times before it resorted to the overload. What we're going to see is they're kind of just going to play much more into the brawl aspect of the double bubble. And we're not going to see Sneaky Turtle hard engage that much. He's going to engage hard to like contest cart with bubble. But for the most part, Rainbow and Unleash are just going to sit on this high ground, and they're just going to poke, and they're going to do damage, and they're going to hold angles, and make it really hard for EmptyBox to find room to work with.
Yeah, look at that. They want to take the opposite high ground rotation. This gives them the ability to start taking angles, but School, every time they peek, they just get headshotted by Torbjorn. It's very unfortunate. We see the dive now coming in. The Stinky's only hitting the bubble, so they're not going to get as much poke as you really want them to be. EmptyBox seem to want to have to push this payload underneath, but Dallas Fools understand that their win condition is having this high ground. Ben goes dangerously low, is going to be shot down by the Zarya. Unfortunate, and now they're just too scared to start poking out. This is exactly how you want to play when it comes to Gibraltar. You control the high ground, have everyone else control the payload.
Yeah, you touched on a very important point there, because EmptyBox literally cannot just push this card. If they do, Dallas Fools has such a huge advantage having the high ground over them, especially with that Torp Turret and that Kree. So now they're making the effort to really push Dallas Fools off this high ground.
Look at this, forcing Sneaky out, dangerously low. It's just barely going to survive. Kath is coming up on the Nano. That might secure them the ability to just re-engage back into this fight. Look at that. They already have it. Rainbow going to be having the high noon in a close second, but now now both ults are mirrored. They're going to be looking up to whoever uses it first. We see them preparing. I'm guessing the re-engage wanting to be committed in. Oh, look at that. The monkey gets shut down. Ben not being able to do much. Able to just clean it out. Sneaky Turtle being able to find two. And that's very good. You don't want to go into these close corridors. Those anti-grenades are powerful.
Yeah, those antis are a very, very big, important part of this composition. You know, Ana doesn't need to be a playmaker, especially in this weird version that Dallas Fools are running. But if you hit an anti, it's almost a guaranteed one fight, especially with the cleave from that Winston. Almost no way to avoid the damage. No eye fields available right now. No BAPs on the field.
Yeah, look at this, already going back into the fight. They're going to be taking on the high ground. Ben gets anti. He's not going to be able to continue when it comes to this fight, but they've lost the Echo. Look at that, Ben wanting to peel out for somebody. The high noon from Rainbow, forcing anyone to just stay back, but it manages to find Ben, just barely peeks it out. Unfortunately, able to do anything. That stun missing dramatically, by the way. And now everyone on EmptyBox just has to back up. They have ultimates for a clean fight, but they need to be ready to commit to it.
Oh, Unleashed on the off angle is going to find that Brig, and that's going to spell disaster. If it didn't already for EmptyBox, they're just going to get run down back to their spawn room. Sneaky Turtle does die, though. That's actually a pretty big pick. They have enough members alive that they can recontest this quickly, and they have ults to do it with. They're going to have this ground pulse bomb, which they might look to combo. They're going to have the Echo duplicate, and Ben is going to have that primal to keep himself up. And Rainbow's going to go down too. No way!
That's amazing. That leaves the Tracer being able to walk out. They have 4 ultimates coming up on 6 in a couple seconds. so they have the ability to play in any sense that they want. And that already taking off the high ground, the copy comes in looking for Cash, trying to shut them down, but they're able to kind of boot themselves away from his sneak. Comes back in, is looking to peel from the team, finds out Mr. X. Modus may be having this copy primal, but it's not getting much value off of it. Kind of just forcing everyone to play back, but not finding any value too much from it. Look at that, they already get 2 off of it. They've used so many ultimates already, and they've paid nothing for it. This is looking very unfortunate.
Yeah, Mouse, they're getting a little bit too overzealous. There was a good disengage there from Dallas Fools, and Mouse didn't want to let him leave, didn't want to let him out. But unfortunately chased him a bit too far and ends up trading his life and quite a bit of ult charge for it. But that's actually a massive grab now.
Surge, the anti-grenade being able to shut it down, the counter grab being used from Quag. I'm guessing kind of a late reaction. It's not going to be able to help them out, but they still have to touch the payload. They're going to be able to do it and start pushing it. There's going to be no chance for a stall here, as only the people alive are the supports. Cath using the nano onto the brig. We're seeing a raid boss now being able to find out that echo. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe they have the opportunity. That Ana's going down dangerously low. They're not going to be able to finish it out, but Rainbow manages to get Angel of Death. The monkey re-engages and going to look for that Ana. They need to shut down the support light to have the opportunity. And now we see Mr. X being pressured. The Mullen Core comes out, and oh my goodness, they had the opportunity. The primal is being used. They want to try to win this empty box. The only thing left empty is your brains, because you're smooth, as the Fools manage the full hold. And now this is a scary win condition.
And we talked about this, right? You know, we talked about how weird the Torb was, right? But Torb is probably the most underrated anti-dive character in the game. When you think anti-dive, you maybe think Brig, Junkrat, maybe, probably not anymore, but like maybe in the past, Orisa, right? But like Torb is just like so good at surviving dives because he has that overload, he has that turret, which dive characters can't easily take care of for the most part, right? Like a Winston's not going to take care of a turret. It's just like, why would he, right? So it's just a lot of like extra damage and extra survivability. And I think Dallas Fools played it very, very well, played it very, very effectively. And now they've set themselves up. All they need here is first point of Gibraltar to keep their playoff hopes alive.
Ooh, come on, EmptyBox. I want to see this reverse sweep. I want to see it. I have a lot of hope in this team, and sometimes you give them a bit of love. It's the caster blessing, as I like to say. You give them a lot of hope, you give them a lot of love, and they bring it back to you in full. Dallas Fools, again, if they run out this Torbjorn on attack, this is where I stop playing the game. This is where I realize the meta doesn't matter anymore.
It doesn't. It never has. That's the secret Blizzard won't tell you.
That's true, but EmptyBox, they want to run out on their standard. They have the Echo, which is very beneficial, but that Torbjorn is going to be able to shut it down. Out, yep, they're running out on the Torbjorn. Unleashed, it's just been unleashed. It's so ready. Rainbow's also on the Widow's going to be able to take those sight lines and take the poke while the Monkeys continuously play into that. Oh my goodness! The anti and headshot hit Ben, forces them back. They're on like 10 HP, not being able to do much. Finishes off Angel of Death. Looks like you're the only one being in the underworld tonight. The re-engage coming back from Sneaky Turtle. Beautiful double bubble dive, making sure to get pure value out of it. And that Echo is so dangerously low, stuck inside the enemy's backline. It's going to be pressured out. And continuously, they are being staggered one by one, not finding ground. And everyone on EmptyBox is just trying to get out of the fight, while everyone on Dallas Fools are saying, hey, come back, monkey. And they're just immediately spawn holding them. Managing to find out Mr. X still going out, unleashed, dangerously low, but it's not going to be finished out. The payload walking into a dangerous category. They have to touch. The nano goes onto the monkey. It's the opportunity unlocked for them. Pressure being put onto the Echo. Rainbow able to find them out. The only person left onto the point is the monkey. They have to not. Oh no! Rainbow finds the body shot onto Angel, finishes them up, and then the monkey. This is absolutely insane. You can't let that happen. And it looks like they're not going to be able to do anything. Dallas Fools. They have the opportunity, and honestly, if I could say so myself, I'm more worried for the playoff brackets. I think they have a team to worry out for.
Yeah, I really do not understand how this team is 2-4. I mean, it's probably just because maybe the other teams are just a lot better than this. But like they played this very, very well, very, very effectively. Here we saw the great grab by MRX, able to give their team at least a fighting chance. But unfortunately not able to cap that point, not able to keep their playoff hopes alive. So now we will see Dallas Fools potentially go into that lower bracket now. For our playoffs. They will have another game Sunday. I'm not exactly sure the playoff implications, so I'm not sure if they've guaranteed a spot or if they need to win that game as well and get themselves to 4-4. But either way, congratulations to Dallas Fools on a very clean 3-0 win over EmptyBox.
Yeah. Honestly, got to give a lot of love to Dallas Fools. They never gave up ground. They looked consistently strong, and they looked so dominating, honestly, that I'd have to say EmptyBox need to work a lot more on their cohesion and a bit of cleanup. They almost had it, too. We saw them. But now let's look at this monkey strategy. Both of these monkeys on the same time. But this is the opportunity where it kind of seems like a monkey difference. Sneaky Turtle getting 8 final blows, 16 eliminations, and over 2k more damage than Ben on the opposite side.
Yeah, we don't really see Winstons aren't really meant to get a lot of kills, right? The whole purpose behind the Tesla cannon is that it's cleave and it negates healing, right? It makes it really hard to heal through it. I believe it does something like 55 damage per second, or maybe it's 50 damage per second, which is around as much healing as like a Mercy does, right? And basically what it does is if you're zapping a bunch of targets, an Ana or a Brig really struggles to heal them all up to full health the entire time. So you'll be doing constant damage that negates that healing so that your DPS and other characters can get follow-up on it. But even still, Sneaky Turtle there getting 8 final blows, only 3 deaths. Very, very, very nice job on the Winston for his team.
My goodness, was very scary. But this is unfortunately our time to close it off. However, this doesn't mean we are done for the day. There will be more games throughout, so make sure if you found this interesting, that you love the matches you saw today, you hit that little heart button. It's a follow. It'll give you notifications, and it'll benefit you a lot.
Yeah, we still do have our player of the match coming up. So I want to ask you first before we get into mine. Who do you think from Dallas Fools was the biggest playmaker, was the biggest reason for their victory in this match?
If I had to think about it mostly, I would give it to either Rainbow or Unleashed. They did absolutely insane, and throughout those fights, they managed to peel for their team and do the best that they could. Obviously, runner-ups would be Kat. I think she did a phenomenal job, or Yosho, who was a very deadly Lucio.
Yeah, I've got to give it to Yosho. Main sport, which, you are a main sport, so I'm sure this will ring true for you. Main sport is probably the most unappreciated position in Overwatch. The impact of a main sport player cannot really be felt or seen from a spectator perspective, right? It's really hard to see what a main sport does because main sports are typically very, very big in comms, right? They're typically the ult trackers or the fight planners or something of that sort, right? Because their role is easier mechanically, right? But Yosho was perfect with his positioning. Very, very good at finding opportunities to peel for his team. Very, very good at finding kills, impactful boops, exactly what you want to see out of your Lucio player. And even on the Brig was very, very good at stopping the dives of EmptyBox. So I think he has to be my player of the match for this 3-0 sweep.
Oof. But we're going to cut to it for a second, so make sure you tune back in.